Dairy, and we're going to be showing you shots of cows milking and cheese being made in the initial stages. I'm here with Ashley Bridges McMurray and her husband Dustin, who did not want to be in this picture. But Ashley, I know you've been doing this a long, long time.
Yes.
And when your dad, when your grandpa Charles Bridges, had the dairy, and that's when you were a little girl running around. So you have done this your entire life.
Yeah. So the milk process, milking the cows, and the husbandry of taking care of the cows is something I've always been around. The cheese process is fairly still new. You know, it's been almost 8 years, but still, it's still continue. I still continue to learn and, you know, can process different things now. So, but as far as taking the cows, I feel like I'm definitely on expert level with that.
Right, right. Now, these are Guernseys.
Yes, ma'am.
And there are a lot of different milking breeds, but the Guernsey is special.
It is. We're blessed, but the Guernsey cow has always been in my family. She's like an heirloom, honestly, and she's a treasure to have. And they have great temperaments. They're very easygoing cows. I told you, like, my kids running in and out of here, they don't pay them no attention.
Right.
And but the other biggest quality of a Guernsey cow is her milk quality. And I'll show you in the vat the yellowness of the milk, and it's all because of it comes from her. No matter what she's eating, she's going to produce this yellow milk.
And is that the fat content?
It's fat, but it's mostly the beta casein in the milk, and they have more beta casein in their milk than any other breed.
Okay.
And that is a huge component of muscle building and all sorts of vitamins and minerals.
In order to have the milk, they have to be pregnant, and they have to have a calf.
Yeah, they have to have a calf, and usually after 60 to 70 days after they have their calf, then once they come back in the heat, we'll breed them again.
But you take the calf off immediately.
Not immediately.
Oh,
not
good.
here.
Okay.
So we actually let our cows have their calves for at least a week to 2 weeks, actually. We think it's a little something different that we do here than some other dairies. We think it's really good for the moms to really bond with their calves.
And then once you take the calf off the cow, then you supplement the calf.
Yep, the calf gets milk. She'll still get raw milk. She just gets a specific quantity every day.
Okay.
And they're raised in the hutches outside, and they have dry bedding and feed, and they get loved and petted on by all the customers that come in.
Oh, sure.
The kids love to see the baby calves.
Right. Okay, Ashley, well listen, thank you so much. We're going to take a shot of your store, just so that we can let these folks in Cleveland County know that they can come here, am I correct?
Yep, on Saturdays from 2 to 3 right now.
Okay.
And this is kind of our winter hours. After spring gets going and the produce kind of starts coming in and flowers from our greenhouse, we'll be open more often.
Gracious, yes, okay. We didn't know where we were going to be, but we're back here in what would you call this area?
Cheese room.
Cheese room. And this is a 30-gallon vat pasteurizer. So we're gonna, it's been up to the proper temperature, and now we're looking at it right now. And that is the milk that was milked from the cows we saw being milked earlier.
So the next step in our process is to cut the curds. The reason for that is we've got to be able to release the whey, we've got to be able to cook the curds, and to be able to get it down to size the way we need it. So we're getting the curds have set for 45 minutes with a culture in it, which acidifies the milk, takes care of the lactose, and then we put a rennet in it. We do use an animal-based rennet. I have a lot of customers that ask me that, especially if they don't, if they're vegetarian.
Correct.
A animal-based rennet is from the stomach of veal calves.
Okay.
The reason we use that kind is I've seen we've had the most consistency with that type of rennet. We're gonna cut the curds and by inch cubes, and then we'll turn the heater on and we'll heat the process and we'll start stirring, and that's to release the whey, and then we'll drain off the whey, and what will be left is cheese curds.
Okay.
Yep.
So the rennet kind of coagulates the milk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly what it does.
Okay.
So you can see, you can kind of do a test. My hands are clean, by the way. You can kind of do a test by.
Oh, look!
You can see that it's formed.
Yeah.
So you know it's ready to be cut. Another lid kind of gets in the way, but we make it work. So.
Oh, I see. It moves. Yes. Okay. And so the whey is just a byproduct. That's another part of the milk.
Yes.
And by cutting it, you're going to be
releasing
it so that it separates
Yep.
from these chunks.
Yep. And the whey, which we will save, and I have another farmer that picks the whey up and he feeds it to his pigs.
Oh,
so none of it
perfect.
goes to waste.
Yes, yes. And this is 30 gallons.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we'll get about 30 to 32 pounds of cheese off of this. And so that's about a 1-to-1 ratio, a gallon per milk per pound of cheese.
Okay.
Kind of what we kind of base everything off of. So we're going to let that sit for a minute. We're going to go ahead and turn the heater on.
Okay.
And you can see it's dropped a little bit after it's been moving, but we'll turn the heater on and the water in the jacket will start heating up around it.
Uh-huh.
And once that happens, we'll start stirring it.
Okay.
So when I start seeing the whey kind of settle on the top, you can kind of see where
Oh, yes.
The
Look
whey.
at that. Right.
and the longer you let it sit, the more it'll do that. But you can kind of go ahead and we can kind of go ahead and start. So I'm just gonna start stirring, and I just kind of gently move back and forth, nothing vigorously.
Mm-hmm. Of course, it's hard to envision that all that'll be cheese curds here. A little bit.
There'll be a lot of whey.
So, and I guess, and I don't know if we'll be able to see this whole process, but about how many gallons of whey will there be?
We'll have about 25 gallons of whey.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's really almost just as much as whey comes out, as much milk as you put in. But like I said, you'll still be left with 30 pounds of cheese.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Now, to do your cheeses to, 60 days to, you wrap them and then store them for 60 days where they can age?
Yeah, so instead of waxing or wrapping them, we actually let our hard cheeses form a natural rind.
That's just letting them be exposed to air?
Yep.
Okay.
And it actually will seal the cheese on its own when it's rubbed down with salt, kind of a brine type mixture. And our curds are nice and firm, and they're starting to sink to the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to start pouring out the whey. And all the whey goes to the Ardea farmstead, and they feed it to all their pigs, so none of this goes to waste.
And is this the golden color you're talking about?
Yeah, so you see all that yellow. Now the whey's going to be a little yellow anyway, but you'll see hints of yellow in the cheese, and especially when we go to taste the curds.
All right, what we have here now, all the whey is being drained out. We either took it out with a bucket or a bowl, and we're letting it drain out the bottom. And then, Ashley, what do we do with this from then on?
From then on, we're going to let this drain for at least another hour. We want to get as much whey out as we can.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been such fun, so educational, and so good. Stay tuned. No, don't. Yes, stay tuned. I'm sorry, I forgot. We're going to talk about why we need to eat cheese curds, and then we'll go cook them over at Honey Hog. Stay tuned.
Be a part of building the future. Be a welder. The Welding Technology Program at Cleveland Community College prepares you with the science, the technology, and the skills to be a successful welder. Experienced instructors using state-of-the-art equipment train students using industry-standard skills developed through classroom training and practical application. Successful graduates are in high demand and are employed as entry-level technicians in welding and metalworking industries. Learn more. Call Cleveland Community College at 704-669-4077.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to the studio and Nancy Abassier-Kong, who is the Consumer Sciences Staff Person at County Extension.
Okay.
I almost got it right.
Okay.
And we're here today to talk about cheese curds. You've seen Ashley and the cows and how she processes these things. And we now want to know why we need and should eat cheese curds, Nancy.
Okay. Well, cheese curds are just one form of cheese that could be part of a healthy diet. We know that with dairy, the dietary guidelines recommend that we get 3 servings. Adults, 14 and above, would need about 3 servings of dairy a day. Mm-hmm. So cheese could be one of those, yogurt, milk, and other types of dairy products. But cheese curds could be one of our dairy sources in our meals. Mm-hmm. And with cheese, about an ounce, 1 ounce is a serving size. Okay. You know, we've talked often about limiting the serving sizes or being aware of the size of servings. And when we look at a nutrition facts label, we are aware of what we are getting, how many calories, how much fat, how much sodium, and so forth, mm-hmm. because we're clued in to what that serving size is. So for cheese and cheese products, cheese curds being one of them, we're looking at about an ounce as our serving size.
Okay. All right. Well, and of course, Ashley has her own store, and she sells her cheese curds there. And we'll be at a restaurant where we'll be working with cheese curds. But do they have them in the store? Because I don't ever look for cheese curds in the store.
Right. I haven't seen them marketed as much in general as cheese curds. Now, a form of cheese curds that we are familiar with, but we don't think of them in the same way, would be cottage cheese.
Well, of course.
Cottage cheese is the solid portion of that sour milk.
Right.
Often is what you would have there, or we could have cheddar cheese curds. You know, could be again the solid. Once the milk and when we've added the different agents to that and then rennet for coagulation, and then it's cut into different sizes and so forth. There is where we get our cheese curd. So it's a good protein source. And cheese is considered a good, it's easy to eat. It's a cheese that it's a protein that is, can be part of a snack or part of a meal, part of many different dishes. But we're getting some B vitamins in your cheese. Okay. Again, look at your dairy or look at what this is a product from. And that's going to be a guide to kind of what else we might be getting. With cheese, we'd have calcium.
Right.
And we know calcium
course,
is
sure.
important for strong bones and teeth. We'd have many of the B vitamins, vitamin D, some vitamin A. So it's a good choice. Now, and it's high in protein. When you look at, I was looking on the chart, an ounce of cheese curds was listed to have 14 grams of protein, which
Okay.
was high, much higher than some of the others, like American cheese or cheddar
Oh,
or
that's a good
Swiss or
point.
some of the other
Yes,
cheeses.
yes,
And we will
yes.
be using a fact sheet from Penn State Cooperative Extension that rates some of the different types of cheese, so you can see where cheese curds and other types of your favorites rank on this chart.
As far as the protein and the nutrition, I
Protein, that's
guess.
right, other nutritional facts, how much fat, how much, and with that fat, we have saturated fat. Saturated fat is from animal sources. It's typically solid at room temperature.
Okay.
And then unsaturated is the other type of fat. And that
Like
is
your
like
oils.
oils, that's right.
Okay.
Liquid at room temperature. A more healthy kind of fat would be
Okay.
your, so we want a smaller or number of saturated, and that was the case here. With the cheese curds, both the saturated and unsaturated levels were actually both at 1, as I
Oh.
recall.
Oh, okay.
So with saturated fat, we don't have to worry for that type of cheese curd. This was made with a 1% milk
Okay.
for that particular one. So again,
Okay.
your nutrition facts label will tell you what the ingredients are. So after we look at the label for the amount of protein and carbohydrate, which you won't have any typically in
Right.
cheese curds,
Right.
you know, that's not a problem. Sodium would be, this was fairly high in sodium, but cheese would have some sodium in it, but it, again,
For the
on
flavor.
this chart,
For
that's
flavor.
right, for flavor and some other things added in.
Okay.
Had some zinc, you know, so some minerals that are not as common for us.
Right, right. Now, I believe I've heard you don't freeze cheese. Is that correct, or
Right.
can you? What is the
Well,
regulation
cheese gets
about
crumbly. That's the problem. It can get crumbly when
that?
it's frozen.
Okay.
So if you think in terms of purchasing about what you're going to use in a few days, with cheese curds, they're best when they're fresh.
Right.
So within 48 hours or so.
Okay.
But you can keep them a little bit longer than that. Most things can stay of leftovers or things like that in the refrigerator up to 4 days.
Okay.
But cheese, we'd have to look at the moisture level and so forth. Well, I'll look and try to have on the website something about our storage times for cheese. But if you do freeze it, just know that it might be a little crumbly when you use it.
But the taste should remain the same.
Taste should be, that's
Okay.
right, should be the same.
All right. Well, that's good.
And in wrapping cheeses, in general, I did not see whether this was specific to cheese curds, but if you wrap it in like a cheese paper or parchment type paper, and then put it in your plastic wrap or a plastic bag,
Okay.
it will work better and pick up fewer flavors from the plastic itself.
All right.
Sometimes there's a transfer of flavor there. And also we want our cheese products, they need to breathe. So rather than put them in a plastic that cuts out all of the air,
Right.
we'd have them in the paper, parchment.
And then when you put it in the plastic bag, you wouldn't like try to get all the air out. You would
Right,
like
you
to
could leave it a little bit of
puffy,
air, or
kinda.
put it in a
Okay.
plastic container even. Once
Okay.
you have your piece wrapped, and this goes for other types of cheeses as well.
Okay.
So,
So that would be descriptive then of when you just buy a chunk of cheese.
that's right.
It's probably some of the more exquisite cheeses have that parchment type wrap around them.
Right, and
for
if they
that
do,
reason.
that's right. You can keep them in that original paper or the cheese cover, you know, what it's purchased in. But if you need to put it in something, and of course we're buying generally for cheeses, we want to grate them ourselves and so forth. So we might have a piece of cheese, and then if you have a type that has a rind, which would not be the case with curds,
Right.
but save that rind, and then you can use it in your soups and stews and other things for flavor.
Well, who
So,
knew that? Nancy,
can-
that's a fabulous little tidbit. The rind.
The rind itself,
Yeah,
right, after you've
yeah.
grated your Parmesan or different types of cheeses.
Right.
Keep the rind,
Ah.
and then you can simmer it in with your sauces or different products like that,
Right, right.
and get that flavor.
Just don't use that wax covering like what would be on a Gouda cheese. That's not
Not-
considered
right,
the rind.
not the rind.
That's
not
the wax.
Right, that's right, and that red wax or whatever,
Right,
different
right.
different
we don't
things.
eat that.
Right.
All right. Well, Nancy,
So-
thank you so much. You were an absolute wealth of fabulous information. Don't you agree, folks? Well, thank you for watching, and we'll be heading to a place that will be using cheese curds that you can carry home and do at your home. So, thank you for watching us.
Arsenic, cadmium, fluorine, formaldehyde, rubidium, lithium.
Do yourself a favor and don't image search for exploding e-cigarettes.
What you don't know about e-cigarettes can hurt you.
Are you ready to take all this in?
Welcome back, Cleveland County. We are at the Honey Hog Restaurant's kitchen. We've never done a shooting of any sort of program from an actual restaurant kitchen, so this is a treat. You saw the beginning, we're outside. Honey Hog Restaurant is in the town of Falston, right on the highway. Can't miss it. And we're here today with Ashley Arthur.
Yes, ma'am.
Who has been cooking about 3 years, is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes,
One
ma'am.
of those years here at the Honey Hog.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are cooking Ashley McMurray's cheese curds that we saw being made just a few minutes ago, as far as you're concerned. So, can you walk us through what you're going to do, Ashley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, we have the cheese curds. They come in a little cube from the Jersey Girl.
Right.
We do 15 of them per order.
All right. And now you can order these things at the restaurant, and they are fabulous. They come hot, they come with dressing to dip them in, and they are absolutely fabulous.
Okay. We're gonna
Okay, so now what are you doing, Ashley?
roll them in buttermilk.
Okay, just straight old buttermilk.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then we have chicken butter and flour mixed together. We're gonna
Okay.
roll them.
Okay. And they're getting ready to go. Okay, and we have our hot grease here. Okay. Okay, the little dredges are sparkling already in the hot grease. And Ashley, how hot is the grease?
It's 350.
350 degrees. Now, the hours of Honey Hog, they're closed on Monday and Tuesday. They're open Wednesday and Thursday. 3 to 5, they're closed. You need to be here at 5 o'clock on Wednesday to get those buffalo wings. All right, they are cooking right here. They're also open on Friday from lunch.
Yeah,
lunch
from 11 to 9.
11 to 9. And then you're also open on Saturday.
Yes, the same
and
hours.
Sunday.
Yes.
So how wonderful all that is. All right, so they're cooking right now. How long do you cook them in the hot grease?
Usually it takes about 30, 45 seconds.
Okay, so not long at all.
Yep.
So when you have everybody out here asking for cheese curds, you can do it in really quick order.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's great. Because the whole process takes, what, maybe a minute and a half?
Yes, ma'am.
Where you pull them out and then drop them in the buttermilk. And great. Tell us some other things that we have here. I've mentioned the buffalo wings. I've mentioned the cheese curds. What else?
We have fried pickles. We have hand-breaded onion rings. We have El Chapo, a Duke Burger. We have tailgates. We have smothered chicken, hamburger steak plates. We have fresh salad mix. We have chef salads, side salads. We have a lot of good stuff. Come and try it out.
Right. Okay, so how are our cheese curds coming?
They're good.
Okay. All right, they're such a pretty golden brown. And as one who's had these twice, now they're hot when they come out, but you want them hot because, and I don't know that I dare, can we just take one and Johnny Ray, who's one of the co-owners, whoo, it's hot. It's hot. We do this and then it spreads out. Oh, it's fabulous. And, oh, good job, good job. Oh, they're so, Now, we have to do, I suggested to them, because I love honey mustard, they make all their dressings, their ranch they make, their honey mustard they make.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I suggested honey mustard. So we're just gonna squeeze some honey mustard in that one. Squeeze some ranch in that one. And then they serve it like that with the dressings in here. And we're gonna be able to see that, and they are beautiful. These are, if you ate all of those, I don't think you could eat a buffalo wing or anything else. But bring a lot of people. That's the whole idea with as many as you have.
Yes.
So it's just the best. And Tyler's last name is Jones. Tyler Jones and Johnny Ray are the co-owners of the Honey Hog.
Yes.
They've been here, what, about a year? Or longer?
Yeah, longer.
About a year. And they've got a great kitchen here. They also have a bar on the other side of the kitchen, which I would imagine if you get there early enough, you'll be able to sit at the bar and at least kind of watch things going on.
Yes.
And they also have great country and western music playing.
Yes, ma'am.
And so if you don't have anything to say, you can listen to the music. All right, Ashley. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. You're welcome,
for
dear.
being the chef of the day and creating these wonderful things.
You're welcome.
All right. See you next month. Thank you for watching.